Ben Shapiro is, I think, in a bit of a difficult position here. He obviously doesn't agree with a lot of the Trump administration's actions, but he's got an audience, and the Daily Wire is in some financial trouble. We've cited Jose.
Beggars can't be choosers.
Yeah. We've cited the YouTube essayist, Jose. You said Jose, not a J, but I don't know. Is that the name of the channel?
It's Jose on YouTube, Jose, not a J on Twitter.
On Twitter, gotcha. Okay, but if you go to @Jose Bird on YouTube, I've found it. You'll be able to find Jose's channel. He just did a deep dive on the Daily Wire and their collapse, which has largely been the result of Ben Shapiro and Jeremy Boring's entertainment ambitions. That
imagine if I spend all the Majority Report money on like trying to get my jump shot good enough to
or like if you spent like all the money that you like fundraised to
I'm working out with Dame Lillard's trainer for $5,000 over the summer, and because I want to fulfill my childhood dreams of being a basketball player.
right that's where those resources went, and Jose goes into how what as a woman was their by far most successful financially, it appears from the outside, but because not a lot of this is private. They're not enterprise from an entertainment perspective.
They're not even gonna finish the Snow White thing that Brett Cooper was hired to be Snow White in.
And Shapiro has long desired to be a screenwriter, and feels like even though he was born into wealthy circumstances with entertainment connected parents in Los Angeles, that society has really done him wrong. But the problem for Ben is that he's cultivated an audience of Trump supporters, and they don't like when you criticize Donald Trump. So I'm curious how this goes over. Here he is trying to get the dear leader to listen to the more sensible conservatives like him, in his estimation, and fire Peter Navarro, who has been responsible for the trade deficit formula and the tariff policy.
All of it goes by the wayside if the economy tanks. So it is unclear at this point, as we've said, what the result of President Trump's tariff war is going to be. Scott Besson, the Treasury Secretary, is almost single-handedly holding up the stock market at this point. As I said before, President Trump should basically just put tariff and tax policy in the hands of Scott Besson, the Treasury Secretary, and let him talk, and everything will be well. And he should also fire Peter Navarro, who is truly a dotard and a fool when it comes to trade policy. Firing Peter Navarro would shore up the economic health of the country in extraordinary ways. Investors would put their money back in knowing that there was solidity. De-dollarization might itself slow or stop. People are withdrawing money from the American system right now, investors, because they are unsure of what comes next. And they are also afraid that if the economy tanks, you will get a populist left-wing party in power that will then completely destroy the investment environment for everybody who actually wants innovation in the United States. So there has to be a recalibrated policy. Scott Besson has a piece in the Wall Street Journal talking about President Trump's 3 steps to economic growth. And basically he says, we need time.
So he likes Besson. He's speaking for the investor class, and
the hedge fund guy.
Yeah. The hedge fund guy, who is this version of the adult in the room this time around. Although he might be the singular adult. I guess Rubio's considered the adult, but Trump the other day was saying how he could be like a Henry Kissinger figure and be both Secretary of State and National Security Advisor.
Well, it's funny you say that, because Henry Kissinger famous for snowing a liberal journalist saying, look, this Nixon fella, he's crazy. I'm one of you guys on the inside trying to play it. And then you actually hear him on the tapes, and he's every bit as psychotic. Taibi recently said he was upset and angry that people weren't credited when referencing the Rumesa Ozturk caging. That he's upset that people aren't saying what Marco Rubio said, which said it's not just about the op-ed. No, Marco Rubio hasn't said what it's about, but Matt Taibbi's upset about him. So that's very Kissingerian.
So what level of aggrievement are we at with Matt Taibbi here? I literally don't
We're
even follow
at the
it.
credit Marco Rubio's unsubstantiated claims about a college student arrested for an op-ed level. That's where we're at.
Okay.
Something simple as a crack pipe, a used crack pipe.
I'm just trying to
That's a real thing.
dispel the tension in my own brain right there. I wonder who Shapiro's speaking to. Like,
Investors, rich
Investors,
conservatives. Ben Shapiro's never been as comfortable with the hogs.
Never.
Because, frankly, a lot of them are anti-Semites on the right wing.
But that's so he hired Candace Owens, and they had this very unholy alliance. This is not a reference to their different religions, but just whatever. They had this.
They're both freaks.
They were able to put he was able to put her anti-Semitism to the side for a while, even defending her when she was platforming Kanye West saying Nazi stuff, when she was giving a talk and saying the problem with Hitler was that he was an expansionist. Now, not the genocide of like the Jews and the Roma and disabled people and LGBTQ people. It was that he decided to be a conqueror. He should be more isolationist. That was what she has said in the past. And he stuck with her throughout all of that until, what do you know, she starts criticizing the state of Israel. Then her anti-Semitism isn't acceptable anymore. She's on the outs. And unfortunately for Ben, she's doing better now than she ever did with the Daily Wire because she's leaning into the anti-Semitism. So you see that on the right, Israel's popularity is decreasing among young Republicans, and it's because you have someone like Candace Owens who's in the top 5 political podcasts regularly in terms of downloads, and that's what they're more drawn towards, because they're never going to have this like egalitarian vision of one democratic state from the river to the sea with Israelis and Palestinians living together and sharing the land like we do on the left. They're going to view it as a race essentialist thing, or in the best case scenario, they have a Dave Smith libertarian thing, which is that like our tax dollars shouldn't be going towards this. But Shapiro's perspective, it's more aligned with like the Koch brothers. He's a bit of a dinosaur in terms of his ideology, and I wonder if criticizing Donald Trump's one of his longest advisors, he brought Navarro back after Navarro was telling him inject the bleach or whatever. He was the guy on the COVID response. Now he messed up the COVID response.
He went to jail for Trump, though.
Went to jail, and so he proved his loyalty, and now he's destroying our economy by telling Trump that by definition, trade deficits are a bad thing. That by definition, if we have a trade deficit with, I don't know, Zimbabwe, that's a bad thing, and they're ripping us off, even though it's completely mathematically impossible for like Zimbabwe to buy more from the United States than we buy from them because they don't have the resources to do it. That's the level of stupidity that is at the top of the White House right now, and Shapiro recognizes it, but the hogs in the audience want the slop. And give me MAGA slop.
Shapiro can't correctly identify this because on a lot of things he agrees with a person like Navarro, who is frankly a psycho. He's not a dotard. He is a anti-China psycho. Yeah, that's why he's known. He's not just some like old like policy guy. He's an anti-China hawk, and it's that sort of hawkery that Ben Shapiro has nothing really to say against. So he can't really criticize it in any kind of real way.
You know who's a dotard is Donald Trump.
Yeah, the president of the United States right now. Maybe he very clearly the shark bites.
Shark bites. The beautiful baby girl of 11 years old. That quote is something else.
Remember that picture of Ivanka on his lap in like the garden around Mar-a-Lago? Mm-hmm. Just normal father-daughter thing.
Normal. Especially normal when he would go on like The View and stuff and say how if she wasn't his daughter, he would want to have sex with her.
How much I would love to know about being a 21-year-old girl.
Condoms. Does everybody know what a condom is?
Hey, folks, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and check out our daily show. We do it every day at 12 p.m. Eastern for about 2.5 hours. We even take phone calls. You should check that out.